Today, we're going to talk about the role of Islamic studies at the University of Minnesota. We will be interviewing students to see their perspective on this issue.
What we've done so far is conduct extensive experiments here at the university regarding Islamic courses offered at the U. Interestingly, what we found is a strong representation of religious scholarship within the other departments, and this sparked our curiosity, so we sent out a survey for students to express their perspectives as well as their concerns and experiences regarding the topic.
Here I am from the Al Madina Culture Center, or AMCC as many know. So this is the place where Muslim students on campus come here to eat, pray, sleep, study, and relax. So many conversations are held in this room regarding the topic of Islamic courses at the university. So we're going to go in and hear some Muslim perspectives about this topic. Let's go take a look.
Yeah, I do.
Muslim.
Yes, I do identify as Muslim.
Yes, I identify as Muslim.
I do identify as Muslim.
Yes, I identify as a Muslim.
Yes, I do.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say he's more fit than others, but well fit, I guess that depends on someone's perspective.
Class was about women in Islam and kind of sort of like feminism discourse in Islam, and I didn't really like that particular class because although my professor was Muslim, she didn't present the topic in a very balanced way. She let her sort of negative views of hijab kind of get in the way of how she taught the class. She herself wasn't a hijabi, but like the way that she spoke about hijabi women was oftentimes very negative, and I didn't really like it, and the way that she presented Islam wasn't very balanced the way that she should have, and she presented, and a lot of the work that she taught from, like the literature and the resources that she used were very I don't know how to really put it lightly, but they were very kind of bigoted against Islam, and a lot of what she used wasn't like proper material, I would say. Yeah.
She gave us a little simple demonstration like how the hadiths worked. And so it really made me feel like they took the time to understand how the tradition actually works.
Somewhat.
I think the main issue that arises when you're trying to determine whether someone is fit is having an equal understanding of both the perspective of the academic field and realm and having an understanding of the actual existing work and body of literature that exists in that religion.
There's a lot of professors that are very liberal in what they do. That's fine, like if you're liberal in general, whatever, that's fine. But to bring that in Islam and expect it to like make sense, that's not, like Islam is, you know, we consider it, Muslim students consider it to be very wholesome and very pure and very, like you can't present your outside, like you can't bring your outside biases and your outside like what you're thinking of or your worldview or your trajectory, whatever it is, and like expect it to like mesh with Islam. Like it doesn't work like that. Islam isn't something that you mesh with other things. Like it's beautiful on its own and it stands true on its own and it should not be mixed with other things. So if you're gonna teach Islam, then I think you should come in with that and as like your backdrop and understand that like, okay, you're not an expert on Islam, no one is, but like you're gonna do your best and you're gonna do right by your students and you're gonna take the opinion of your Muslim students and
I know my sister, she goes to College of St. Benedict and she's taking an Islam theology class, and her professor is not Muslim, but he is basically well versed in that subject because he took the time to actually study Islam and study the Quran just so that he could teach that class. And I feel like here at the U they kind of just pick two like topics, whether it's like Islam and feminism, and they tend to take like someone who is well versed in feminism but not like the Islamic perspective on that and kind of just throw the two together and expect it to work, and it doesn't necessarily work.
Kind of just reiterated what she said from the beginning about like, hey, I'm not here to teach people what Islam is, the theology itself. I'm here just to teach like these aspects that fall under Islamic culture. But it's kind of strange to say Islamic culture because there's a wide variety that make up Muslims, and each culture has a different practices that aren't necessarily Muslim, right? Or that don't fall under Islam's rules and guidance.
She said a statement and then she was like, yeah, right? I'm just like, you're the teacher.
Yeah, one of the things that I kind of was confused about was about why the courses themselves deviated from like the main, because the course on Islam should teach like what most of the Muslims believe, but sometimes I felt like they were focusing too much on like fringe groups or like very small minorities within the Muslim community.
Okay.
I think one of the main issues with a lot of these courses is they tend to focus on a very equal footing of all sort of understandings, and they sort of critique the idea of having an orthodoxy within a particular religion, which can be a large issue when you have people who will view something as orthodoxy. Like if there's a large group of people who view something as orthodoxy, shouldn't that be taken as orthodoxy? But when it comes to these courses and these professors in this sort of realm of study, is that usually isn't the case. They view everything on equal footing and see everything that is said within a tradition as all being equal in understanding of the people, which is largely not the case.
If you're like, hey, we're going to teach about theology and this religion itself, that's clear. But if you say you're going to just teach about this religion and not take into aspect its core values, then that's strange.
I think to present religion without God in the equation is kind of useless.
If you think that you're going to present Islam in an academic context and purely in an academic context, it's not possible. Like, it's literally not possible. You have to present God into the equation.
I think that's very problematic, because what is the reason of the existence of those religions? If God isn't included in the equation, then what's the point of learning about it? Like, what is the main thing that a religion is supposed to do is describe God or give you an understanding of God. So why would you present that without, like, you're making a body without its skeleton, which
I think that's impossible to do, because how are you going to teach a whole, like a course on religion without God in it? I mean, I understand why some people would want to, because it's like a secular university, but if you're going to do it, then like just don't do it. Either do it right and do it justice, or don't do it, period.
I think religious courses should have a mix of both. So like if they found a way to like separate the course into two parts, one taught like purely secularly, and then one taught like in what Muslims believe in, like by a religious person.
It's like history and like theology, kind of?
Yeah.
What are you studying?
Take the opinion of your Muslim students and take in their perspectives and take in their voice, like when they're telling you that they have reasonable concerns. And if you take that personally, then I don't think you're fit for an academic position.
Scholars who are academics, I think you can find those widely. So I think there's definitely a way to merge the two, and I think that's the perfect class to go for, to be teaching.
embracing bias that isn't detrimental to whatever you're trying to present is, I think, a better approach than trying to reach an unbiased approach, because you're not going to find that, because inevitably you're going to be biased in one way or another.
So I would say if they're choosing people who are academics, they should have some sort of like qualification where they have studied Islam and have the ability to teach it.
Okay, thank you.
I think the solution proposed where it's half-half could work at a secular university, and right now, when it comes to working, it could be working where people think they're getting the knowledge, but in reality, they're gleaning the edge of the tip of the iceberg when it comes to religion, when it's taught by secular.
You should have professors that know what they're talking about, that are well versed on Islam, that do not present information that is biased or derogatory in any way.
Do you believe that religion should be taught at a public university or just like a secular university?
That's a tough one. I personally do believe that religion should be taught in public university, because I do believe people do need to be aware of what religions believe, even on a basic level, just to understand it.
Okay. What do you, for future Islamic courses, like what do you expect from it? Like, what would you expect?
Future Islamic courses, I would expect them first to actually talk about God in the equation. But if they can in public university, I would at least expect them to like really show a depth of the tradition.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would expect that they're like well versed in whatever that they're teaching, that they've studied it enough in order to like be able to teach a whole class on it. If you have a biology class, whatever teacher is teaching it has studied that subject to a certain level of like depth where they can reteach it.
Like I'd say someone who knows a lot about Islam.
As Muslim students, we get that everywhere else, and like we shouldn't have teachers every day. That's not our job. We pay tuition. We're here to learn, just like everyone else. We shouldn't have to be representatives for an entire
As
religion.
you've seen through the conversation we've had with students, the survey that we've conducted, students do care about this issue of religious scholarship in the classroom. And we feel that this is a small step to a larger conversation that can be held at this university. So this is just a message to faculty, staff, and professors, and even students who may be watching this. Please value the concerns of students, listen to their criticism, and since we are driven to discover, let's strive to discover new and more logical ways to approach religion at this university.